Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, he's Kyle Ferguson, and this is the Patron Hangout for March 2016. If you are not familiar with what that is, we have this thing called a Patreon over at patreon.com/ITN. That is the best way to support the show. If you like Into the Nexus, if you like what we're doing, that is where you can support us. And because of our patrons, we have hit the milestone to once a month get together, open up the Skype lines to our patrons, let them call in and ask us questions. They can be Heroes of the Storm related, but they don't have to be. You want to ask us about our favorite shirt, sandwich, movie, music, car, video game that isn't Blizzard related? It doesn't matter. So if this gets a little off topic and fun, well, just enjoy the fun, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today, Kyle?
No fun. I'm doing great today.
I'm enjoying your I like your beanie.
Oh, thank you. It's Friday.
Okay?
No hair doing today.
Yeah, I had a hat on all day and I lost it, so you're just gonna have to deal with down hair Garrett today. I'm like it though, dude. I've lost so much weight I can fit into like my old band T-shirts. I mean, this is a venue T-shirt, but
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I went out looking all like somebody who refuses to give up on punk. That's basically how I'm dressed today. So, anyways, we're already getting calls. So if you are watching live, if you've never been to one of these and you're a patron waiting to call in, I have all the Skype sounds disabled. Don't worry, you can call as many times as you want until you get in. You won't mess anything up. So let's take our first caller. Please welcome to the show my favorite legendary bird from the original Pokemon roster, Articuno, a.k.a. Jared. Welcome, Jared.
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Don't mean to start off weird. First time ever using this mic. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound good, man.
Sound great.
Okay, thank you. Well, last time I called in, I gave input on the game by using knowledge that I gained from playing other games, such as I believe last time a few months ago was one of the topics was visual MMR as well as matchmaking times using World of Tanks. And again, I can do the same thing using my experiences with other games, this time with the banning system.
Okay.
In Black Ops 3, they introduced a ban and protect system where you can not only ban things but also protect. You can use your pick to protect something, like protect a certain weapon or specialist. And two inputs on it. Do you think that would be a cool thing for heroes? Whereas using your turn, instead of banning something out, taking it to protect something?
So it's a either or?
Yeah, I guess the reason it works in Call of Duty is whereas if you protect, say, a certain gun, it means both teams can use it, whereas that's kind of flawed in Heroes because the entire idea is you can only use one hero once on each side.
Yeah. I like the idea, and I think you kind of just answered your own question right there by mentioning that because there's so many more things in Call of Duty, like there's so many that you can choose going into a game, whereas in Heroes of the Storm, the only thing you can choose before the game starts is your hero. That is it. I mean, in Call of Duty, you have many guns, many attachments, many different perks and whatnot that you can bring with you. So I feel like it would be an unnecessary in Heroes of the Storm, I guess, because right after you ban, the opposing team then picks. So chances are you would never protect, because if you protected it and the other team could grab it, they would just grab it because they're like, it would be a dead giveaway that that's something you want, unless you're trying to reverse psychology them. But then I feel like that kind of puts the system into this weird loop of, yeah, we're protecting Artanis. We totally want Artanis, guys. Don't take him away from us. Oh, no, you took him. Aw, shame.
I guess also on banning is my fear with it. I've been playing competitive Black Ops 3 in publics, so you're matched with random people a la Hero League. And one of the problems I have with it is people will, ban something that doesn't deserve to be banned. Pretty much imagine someone first banning the Lost Vikings. Do you really want that one guy in Hero League doing that? That's just... I mean, I feel like it's perfect for Team League, and I feel like Team League is kind of the essence of what people should be playing Heroes of the Storm, but of course not everyone can because there's a lot of requirements for that, such as people and time. But I'm just kind of afraid of bans in Hero League. I don't know.
I mean, we're all human and kind of tribalistic just by nature, so there's going to be a time period of complete madness, and then the majority of sane people will learn to not upset anybody, and we will move into a much more understood kind of banning phase. But yeah, when we first get into it, we'll see bans to stop things being on your team. We'll see completely wild things that people just hate, like, we won't be on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but someone just hates Zagara and they don't really connect what map she might work well on. And that's sadly just going to be the way it goes. I mean, the banning phase isn't perfect because we have Team League, which you pick out of order. That's great. Anyone is ready to pick, you pick that hero. But that system isn't usable by the pros because they may make odd choices. Like sometimes one of the cool things a caster will say, like, oh my god, they put that player on Falstad. They're usually the healer. Who's going to play the support then? And right now we don't have that system in place to divvy out heroes after we've selected them into a pool, so the pros will just keep using websites.
Fair enough.
Very last subject is how the pros act on stage and such. I feel like Call of Duty has a very bad thing known for how people act when playing against each other, even still in competitive scenes. At the very lowest level of like LANs where people just go to hotels and set up their systems, there are people who will sit across from each other and they will yell obscenities and direct insults, and that's very bad and that's not what we want. However, I feel like very high up in the pros, there's actually a lot of more guys get more pumped up, and some people don't like it, but I think it all comes down to whether it's aimed at the other team. Do you guys remember the cognitive guy that got in a little trouble a month or two ago when he yelled at the other side? I think it was. I don't remember the exact.
You're talking about the NA regionals?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the team kind of stood up and they looked jazzed as heck, but one or two of them were definitely firing the cannons in the direction of the enemy team.
Yeah, I think a lot of what happens in Call of Duty, when guys win, they'll stand up. They'll yell to their own team. They'll say stuff, get 'em boys, let's get it. I think, really, I'd like to see more of that into the Nexus. It's kind of boring when a team wins and they kind of just put their headset down, stand up, go over it, and shake hands. It's kind of boring to me. I feel like as long as you stand up and get pumped and it's only directed towards celebrating your team's success and not putting down the other team's shortcomings, it's all good. Like in hockey, when someone scores a goal at home, sirens go off, you get 30,000 people standing up and cheering, but it's not disrespectful to the other side as long as you don't make contact with them after play, don't give the other bench a nasty look when you're skating by. I think you can have excitement in the Pro League without being disrespectful.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I definitely agree. I'm right there with you. I mean, we've talked about BM overall very recently, and I still kind of stick by the majority of my thoughts, which is, it's kind of each player and each team's prerogative on how they want to carry themselves, whether they want to try and err more towards being classy and being reserved with a win, and not BMing in game or out of game versus getting super excited. I really like it too. I mean, I'm right there with you, Jared. Like when a team wins, or when I'm watching Hearthstone or StarCraft and a single player wins, and they let it show, they let their excitement show. That's what gets me stoked. Like that's part of the reason I love esports. I mean, that's what drew you and I into it, Kyle, in the early days. I mean, you're watching someone like Lenok win his first MLG, and it's just like, my God, this kid is so young. You can see it on his face. Like he doesn't even know what to do with himself right now. Like that absolutely gets me, and that makes me want to follow that player. And the same thing happens with teams in Heroes of the Storm.
It's different for me when they have a box too. When the pro players are actually inside a little cubicle built thing to protect their sound, they can go wild in there and then they can compose themselves as they go to meet the enemy team. That's fine. But in the NA regionals, when everyone was kind of at a desk, it is unclassy, and I think it shows a certain level of maturity in both their play, because someone who's going to freak out that much when they win will be raging hard when they lose, and that I can quickly lose my fandom of that person.
Agreed. So
Do you think it was a problem him shooting at the other bench, at the other team, or is it kind of just getting pumped in general? Because I feel like I can kind of get it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't appreciate that type of behavior, but I mean, I don't know at what point do you draw the line? At what point do you need to start punishing people for these things? And I think we should leave it pretty much up to the teams and to the tournament organizers to decide what they think is acceptable for people on their payroll and for people competing at their events. And because for the most part, when people are doing that, your fan base, the people like us who are sitting there watching it, we're going to form our own opinions, and you're going to reap the rewards or the issues that come with behaving that way. And it sounds like the three of us here definitely we're not bigger fans of that player at the end of the day, but it comes with I think it just comes with competition. You see this in traditional sports. You see this in the NFL all of the time. I mean, on both ends of the spectrum, people that are known for being very respectful but still getting emotional when they win, and people who go off the deep end and treat their other players with massive disrespect. And I don't see it as something that's exclusive to esports or heroes in general.
Yeah, I think it is a little case by case, because I think there's even such a big difference in such a little change of the celebration, such as standing up, yelling, "Let's get it," and high-fiving your teammates isn't disrespectful in my mind. However, doing the same thing and even just making eye contact with the other players probably has something more sinister to what you're doing. So I think it's something you kind of have to be careful with, maybe look at a case-by-case basis. But I do like guys standing up, yelling, getting excited, so long as it's not putting down the other team's shortcomings and only celebrating your success.
Well, and look at the majority of threads that are made about these sort of topics. You have the two kinds. You have one that was really rude and I'm offended by the team's activity, and the other one is cringy. And people love posting, "This was cringy, that was cringy," but look at those two. Like, those speak to the people making those posts and talking about the subject. We're sensitive people for the most part. Nerds, shy people, we're all really, really sensitive, and that's why these things, probably tilt us a little more than the average sport goer who is in a stadium, which to some of us, like, really shy. Well, oh God, like all these people standing around, and then some dude next to you don't even know goes, "Yeah," and his spittle hits your face, and you're just in horror. You don't want to be in the middle of this sea of folk. It's just a different environment.
I'm there with you, man. I mean, I get it to a certain point. I mean, clearly, anyone who has watched me stream of any video game knows that I get very emotional. But like, I'm different. Like, if I'm at a tournament or if I'm in person at some type of LAN event, like when I go and play in the local pre-release tournaments for Magic the Gathering, I have sat across from another person, face to face, feet apart from each other, who just starts cussing up a storm when I'm kicking their butt because they're either they're drawing bad or maybe my deck's better, whatever the case is. I'm not even saying I'm the better player, but they're just like, "Oh, mother effer, imagine if I had this card and that card." I'm like, who does this in person? Like,
yeah,
I get it when it's just me in my boxers streaming to 20 people playing some Heroes at Night going, "Oh my God, this is the worst gen. I can't believe this gen. Holy crap." But like, I would never, ever in any scenario act that way, like, to someone's face, or go and chase that person down and be like, "Let me tell you how bad I think you are at this game." I'm just reacting to it in the heat of the moment behind a wall of anonymity.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, I'm not that anonymous. My name is Garrett in game, so.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call. It sounds like me and Garrett are a bit closer on this. Kyle, you definitely sound like you're a bit on the other side of the spectrum. I think I can give it some more thought, maybe think about it a bit more. But I do think I just like people getting pumped.
Yeah. Bring it on, man. So, thanks for calling, Jared.
Yep. Thanks for taking my call.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Alrighty. We've got a Brockness monster.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Going? I can.
No, we can hear the stream. Or maybe myself on a delay.
It is the stream. I turned it off.
Wonderful. You're a bit on the quiet side.
Okay, let me see if I can fix that a little bit.
Nice. How you doing, Kyle?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good.
That any better?
Yeah, a little bit. So is your name Brock?
Yes, it is.
Nice. Are rock Pokemon your favorite?
No. Not really.
That's also the correct answer because rock Pokemon are boring. So,
Right, and Pikachu can just ride a bicycle for half an hour or whatever and beat him.
Sorry, what?
I guess it was technically Ash riding the bicycle, but you know what I mean.
I was going to argue that it was the sprinklers and it was also cheating. So
That was, but then Team Rocket showed. That's always how it went. Was it's like, oh, Team Rocket's cheating. Oh, well, everything's cheating. Well, we saved the dojo, and here's your pin. Like,
anyway, Brock, why are you calling today?
I have a unrelated question. I just got done seeing Batman vs Superman this morning.
Please tell me you're not calling to spoil it for me before I go and see it here in a few hours.
I would never think of doing such a thing.
Okay. Although I have a feeling I know how the movie goes.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you too. Oh look, a bigger bad. Wonder Woman's here. Let's fight.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary.
Sorry, but continue with whatever the point you were about to make.
I was just wanting to know your favorite depiction of Batman, whether it be in a movie, TV show, or a specific comic book run. Just your favorite Batman.
Kyle, I'm going to let you take this first and hope to God that we don't have the same answer.
but for me, it's Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I forgot you're weird. Okay.
I mean, well, okay, so let's. Are we just going to target the obvious, like Fox Kids Batman? Like that's Saturday morning cartoon, the one that got made into the video games. Can't pronounce Ra's al Ghul kind of Batman. Yeah,
Yeah. For me, it's probably Batman the animated series. There's a lot of Batman movies that I really enjoy, but I don't think we've had an actor that's really nailed Batman yet. I love the Tim Burton stuff. I grew up with it. Batman Begins and Dark Knight are phenomenal movies, but Christian Bale doesn't strike me as Batman.
but yeah, not Batman, but he is Bruce Wayne.
He's good at it, but I don't know. At the same time, I think part of it, like, he does do a really good job as Bruce Wayne. I will give him that. For me, I think part of it is this. It's very superficial for me. Like, I have this image in my head of what Bruce Wayne looks like, and it is so far from Christian Bale. So,
A little thicker of the chin.
right, like it was the same thing with Superman. Like, I was really excited going into Man of Steel, because Henry Cavill, I was like, finally, they found a guy that looks how Superman should look. Because in the past, Superman's always been played by very just kind of skinny, string bean looking dudes with doofy hair. And then finally Henry Cavill comes out and he looks like an Alex Ross painting.
Yes.
So and to me that too. Like, the image of Batman in my head is Alex Ross's depiction of him. Just this that black and white painting that he did of Bruce Wayne with his suit off with his back to you, and you see all the scars on his back and his rippling muscles. Like, that's Bruce Wayne to me. Because like, that's him. I don't know. To me, that's him in his element. He's not being Batman. He's not being Bruce Wayne. That's him at the end of the day being like himself. So that's the image in my head. So that's why I'm kind of excited about Ben Affleck, because honestly, of all the actors we've had to pick Batman, Ben Affleck looks the closest to that in my mind.
Yeah, I enjoyed his performance as Bruce Wayne quite a bit. I think he's the best actor to portray Bruce Wayne so far, and his Batman was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was still good. He was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Well,
It's so sad it was serious. Like, Ben Affleck has some good comedy chops on him.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's Zack Snyder for you, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
No one can be happy ever.
He's not really good with the humor, and I'm not coming down. There's some Zack Snyder movies I genuinely enjoy, and honestly, Watchmen is one of them. And a lot of my nerd friends want to tear me apart for that, but I love his Watchmen movie. But yeah, for me, it's the original Batman, the animated series. That's my end all be all Batman. I think it's so phenomenal. And Kevin Conroy, that's Batman, man. I know when I go and look at pictures of him, I'm like, wow, ruined, totally ruined. He looks nothing like Bruce Wayne or Batman, but that's my Batman. So I love the animated series. I love the Arkham video games. Bring it on.
You excited for the Killing Joke movie?
I am very excited for the Killing Joke movie.
A cartoon movie, right?
Yes.
Yes.
With Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles.
Yeah, interesting animation style there.
Yeah. It's in line, I think, with the updated DC movies that they've been putting out.
Yeah.
Most of which are phenomenal. Have you seen most of the recent animated DC stuff, Kyle?
Not too much. I saw the Superman one and one of the Batman ones.
They're good stuff, man. I'm really excited for
and they're dark. They're made for an older audience of Batman, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we get into like Batman Beyond and like Bruce Wayne's going like full crankers, that's kind of awkward for me.
Yeah, I do like the Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller comic that
Oh sure.
Batman v Superman kind of just ripped off without paying any respect to. I like that a lot, although it is hard to get past for me. The art in that book, I'm not a fan at all.
No, and
so
I love
rough.
it, but I love his gut as he like swings around through the air.
Yeah, but like the story is just so good and the writing is so good, and I love that. That's why I was so not ready for Batman v Superman, because I love that story so much, because Bruce Wayne's just at the end of his rope, and it's him and his lifetime friend Superman, who they couldn't disagree more like on the way things should be handled, and it finally comes to a head. It's such a good story.
Yeah, I was glad they came out with a movie of that. So
Yeah.
then I can just watch that instead. 'Cause
Yeah, actually,
the art's a bit hard for me to swallow too.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it yet. I saw parts of it one night, I think on HBO, like it was playing, and I was like, no, I need to turn this off. I need to watch it from the beginning. I need to see this whole thing.
It was really good.
It is really good. That and The Killing Joke. I mean, those are two phenomenal Batman stories, and we're getting depictions of both of them. So it's a good time to be a Batman fan, I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's good. So what's your favorite portrayal of Batman?
I like the animated series quite a bit, but I really like the recent depiction of him in the animated films.
Nice.
I'm a big Kevin Conroy fan, but I like Jason O'Mara also. He's been doing it in the recent animated films, and he's probably the only other person that's done it that I actually really like his Batman voice. And the last movie that was released, Bad Blood, was really good. It finally had a Batwoman in it, and it was an interesting dynamic that she brought to the rest of the team.
Oh wow, what a trip this guy's been on! HBO miniseries, CSI, and then just suddenly Batman. Now he's getting tons of work. I think, but I forget the guy. How you say the guy? Died Rich Bader. He was the UPS guy on the Jim Carrey show.
Oh, yes.
He does the voice of Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold, and he does a fantastic job.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, Kyle, I did enjoy The Brave and the Bold. Like it's hilarious. And it did give me something I've been asking for a while. It's give me a funny Batman.
Well, and Batman, it's Justice. I love Justice League because Batman's only as good as the wackiness happening around him. It's when you have Mr. J and she's like doing cartwheels and he's just standing there stoically and knocks her down. Like that's the comedy gold of Batman. So when he's arguing with Superman as he falls through the air because he can't fly and someone has to save him, or everyone's wacky but him, and Joe DiMaggio is laughing it up as Aquaman, those are the good times.
Yeah. Which actually, speaking of Joe DiMaggio, have you seen Under the Red Hood? Because he did the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and I think he did a bang up job.
Huh.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Mark Hamill, who I agree is the Joker forever and always, but I think Joe DiMaggio hit it out of the park with that one. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm kind of a Batman nerd. I love Batman. Batman and voice actors. So,
Good stuff.
yeah. Do you have any other questions before we let you go?
No, I think that's about it.
Well, cool, Brock. Well, thanks for calling in. I love me some good off-topic rambling. So thank you for being the catalyst for that.
No problem.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too.
Alrighty, let's get Mr. Master DS in here. Hello, Brian.
1 second.
Ooh,
Think he had to dodge out of something serious.
tantalizing. I don't know. It sounded like he was rubbing his hands together. He was finishing a meal.
Sounded to me like he was in an office, like he usually
Scrumpulous
is.
Chinese meal.
I've been having a mad desire to watch some Indiana Jones again.
Okay.
Yeah, ducking out still.
We're in the stairwell.
Yep, I'm heading outside again, since that worked so well last time.
It did. It did, because they were like children and other things that were getting you delightfully off topic.
Yeah. Quick thing, just first off, on the pod yesterday, you guys talked some stuff about Overwatch heroes again. I just want to say two things. One, Mercy has literally one ability in common with Morales, and the beam works completely different because she can turn it into a damage beam.
That's
She
true.
has to make a
It can work completely different. When it's healing, it does not work completely different. It works completely the same.
I think that if you're asking every support to reinvent the way that they support, you're going to have 9 supports forever. What's it, 10? How many more original ways can they have to support? Is Uther going to be the only one who just casts a Q and that heals you for a bit?
Well, hang on now. We got Malfurion who does a small amount of
Heal over
healing and then a
time.
heal over time, right? Yeah, exactly.
And
so
we also-
we do a heal over time and then a small amount of healing. New hero.
And we also have
heals
Tyrande.
over a delay heals, like a Rhaegar's heal, the ancestral but a basic ability. You could do that.
Yep.
Exactly.
We also have
But
Tyrande.
but there's a limited amount of permutations of that. Eventually, you're going to be like, well, this guy has a Q that's just like Uther's, but his talents make it different, and also the rest of his kit is really different as well, or her kit.
I think eventually, yeah, but I think Team 1 is going to continue surprising us because that's something we've been talking about on the show for a while. And go look at a game like LoL or Dota, and there's still a lot of variants. There's still a lot of things that have been scratched.
Well, and if we want to target something exactly, Olaf, Morales, and Muradin all have the same trait.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's one thing I wanted to touch on. Like, yeah, you could do, like, she has to decide between healing and damage buffs, and she's really mobile, and she can rip people. That's just good jumping point.
Yeah,
Different stuff, more flavor.
you're breaking up really bad. We can't really understand you anymore, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Reception has been bad today. Hey, I'll link you somewhere else.
All right, go quest there.
Worst case scenario, feel free to text us a question or two, and we can answer them off air. I don't think you can hear us.
I can hear you just fine.
Ah,
There you go.
now
Now
you're
you sound
crystal
good.
clear, Mister.
Going to the other side of the building. I don't know why. It's been up and down recently.
Well, you're
I
good
hate
now.
that side.
We can hear you.
All right, so I sort of wanted to talk about. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was bans, because it's sort of weird, right? It's exciting, but at the same time, kind of scary, because we all know how to draft without bans, and now we're going to have to learn for the first time ever how to draft with bans. So, like, last night after the Patron games, like 5 patrons, we decided to do another game, except we decided to just do a custom game, and we filled up as many slots as we can, about 5, and then we dropped into the general chat thinking, well, we're going to body some other team that's just full of randos. And that turned out not to be the case because they got Illidan and Tychus.
How odd that is to say.
Yeah, right? Illidan was just jumping all over us, being all crazy and hard to kill, really just distracting the hell out of us. And then Tychus killed us while we weren't looking, basically. It seemed like that was the case. Personally, I just think it's just... we really have to get used to the idea of using these bans to deny people. This is what I learned. That we have to make sure that they don't get 2 overpowered heroes. They can have 1 if our first pick is going to pick up one of them. But if our first pick is not picking up one of them, then we have to use our bans to eliminate a pair of strong heroes, or one of them. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
And it'll be chaos for the first week until Hot Slogs can give us the easy rundown of how high Illidan's going to jump up. But until then, I think we'll just be banning out things we're familiar with. Rhaegar, Zool, which isn't bad.
Sylvanas as well.
Yes, I mean, for people who investigated the PTR and don't really know what she's up to.
That was our ban. We did the Sylvanas.
Okay, well that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I'm personally excited for bans. The only thing I'm concerned about is if we get into this weird headspace at certain ranks where you're seeing the same ban every single game, and it's like, well, I was excited for bans because I personally am hoping that bans bring in and kind of force more interesting hero picks. But if like I said, my only concern is that every game we just see the same bans. It's like, well, no, I'm kind of ready for a game with Rhaegar now, guys. Can we not ban Rhaegar?
I think it has to depend on, like, you need to talk to your team and see what first pick is willing to pick. Because, like, it's sort of like the thing that I think Dreadnought was saying, like, a while ago. Like, this is how you ban. If there's 2 overpowered heroes and Team 1 doesn't ban one of them, Team 2 doesn't ban one of them either, because they say, well, you're going to pick one of those overpowered heroes, and then we get the other one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things you're going to have to look to. You're going to have to look to your first pick and say, hey, can you get one of these heroes? Because we don't want them to have both. And not do that strategy if they say, no, I can't, I'm just going to play Li Ming. You know,
But that's not so different. We're already doing that.
This is true. It's just there's strategy now, and it's going.
No.
I mean, honestly, there was strategy before in drafting, and people still chose to not
use their first pick.
Correct. To me, the issues, the potential issues that we have with drafting in the game really aren't any different from the potential issues that we already have in the game from people just not paying attention.
I definitely think, though, that played properly, it's not the same ban every game. Not just, based on what your opponents will play. But based on what your team will play.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I was just saying that's really my only concern is people getting lazy. And it's like, well, I read this one thing that says you should always ban Rhaegar, so I'm always banning Rhaegar.
Right, ideally with the big announcement, the Dragonshire, and the dings and the pop-ups and whatnot, that we'll have a very active conversation in that first 45 seconds.
I like Lustin Pal in the chat room who says, talk to my team, but I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's in my court. He doesn't want to get spit on in the stadium.
By the way, what do you think about Blades of Ath? I wanted to kind of talk about talents as well. Blades of Athenoth, that's a really interesting one because it basically is every 5 sweeping strikes you get a really big power buff on your 1 key or whatever. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like it too. It encourages exactly what he should be doing, which is targeting a single guy and getting them down, flipping all over them.
Yeah. And also, it really reminds me of Overwatch, where you do damage to build up your heroic. It's just like that. It feels like that. Holy shit. I'm not doing damage for a while, so I'm not building it up. But once we get into a fight, it's going straight up, and that feels really cool. Compared to just waiting for it. I really like that flavor. I really hope they do more with it.
Yeah, at level 16, too, it's decently placed, but an 8-second cooldown and lasts 8 seconds is pretty absurd. 75% damage increase to basic attacks.
It's a lot of friggin' damage.
Do you think there's any chance that Tracer's heroic will work like this? Like
Tracer's
in Overwatch?
heroic. Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I guess they've said that she comes with it, but they haven't said if doing damage reduces the cooldown or something along those lines.
Or they haven't said, if it starts unlocked, she can just use it from the very start, like moment 1, or if it starts on cooldown or something.
That'd be interesting, yeah. She doesn't have any regeneration to the cooldown. She has to attack.
Yeah.
Battle momentum without the passive.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that'd be very flavorful, and It works in Overwatch. It feels really good there. And I didn't play much of Illidan, but it was pretty fun when I did use it.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for Illidan now too. I may finally give him an honest try because I've pretty much avoided him forever. He's not.
You
really...
you might have to because it's going to be the flavor of the month, isn't it?
I feel like him
Tychus.
and Sylvanas and Tychus. I think they're definitely going to be really popular and possibly just banned constantly.
Yeah,
Well,
poor
you can only
Dahaka's
do-
going to get run over.
There's only 2 bans at first, so you'll get one of them. It's your first pick.
Yeah. Time will tell. Time will tell. I'm excited for it though.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thanks for calling in. We got a couple other callers coming in, so I'm going to grab one of them.
Brad, bye.
But yeah, go slay some fools with Illidan, man. Have a good one.
Hey, dude.
Let's get Ryle in here, who has a very intense. Is that a 6-string bass?
Oh, wow.
Oh wait, let me pause. Oh, I didn't expect to get in this fast. Let me fix my settings. 1 second.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Oh god, I got it. There we go.
Sound
Now I
great.
can hear you.
No reason to panic. No reason to panic.
Ah, yeah, that's just a 6-string bass. Yeah,
That's intense, man. You playing a band? I'm assuming.
yeah. We released 2 albums so far. We were about to record a 3rd one, but some couple of band members are going to Japan to study. So
Always seems to happen with bands.
yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah, I haven't been in the band in a very long time, and the last one I was in broke up because the drummer was off to some college on the other coast. So, tends to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, why are you calling today, Ryle, other than to show us that awesome picture of your scary-looking bass? I don't think my fingers could handle that.
Well, I had a really clever question this morning when I listened to the main show, but I'm gonna do with this question. When is it okay to draft the Vikings? Because I had a really good run. I bought him like a couple of months ago, and I've about 70% win rate on quick match, but I haven't had a chance to draft him in Heroes League.
The Heroes League. Well, clearly, I am the guy that should be answering this question, not Kyle Ferguson, who has been drafting the crap out of Vikings lately. Kyle, when do you draft Vikings?
When you got one of those snowball heroes on your team that can take advantage of the XP. If you get a first pick Li Ming, things are looking pretty darn good for Vikings. And that's really all I need these days. Vikings has amazing powers on certain maps. Towers of Doom. Great map for Lost Vikings.
Yeah.
He can take altars. Guard a Terror. If you really want to work that hard, you can ride the Terror while commanding 2 Vikings.
It works. It works.
It does. It's hard to do. It's a little too much work, but it does end up doing quite a bit of damage. That's really my only caveat. Is everything looking good? Do we have a hero that can take advantage of the XP I provide? Otherwise, even someone like a Vala, a Raynor, when they get ahead, it just isn't as amazing. And without any reset ability on Go for the Throat or Li Ming's passive, it's just hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I misheard you earlier. It's not good to have Li Ming in the opposite team, right?
Oh, yeah. That's why you need her on your team, right? Now with bans, if she's banned out, I think you're good to go Lost Vikings and
But
most
I bought Vikings about the time when Li Ming was released, and together with the Wolf guy, I can't remember his name.
Greyman.
Yeah, thank you. It's been hell, but it's worked out in the end somehow. Because I just need to get the right moment to attack her and get one spin to win, and she's pretty much down.
Oh, nice. So you doing the full spin to win with the play it again?
Yeah, that's what I mostly do. Depending on the map, if I go is the Battle of the Ancients, I go for the boat.
That makes sense.
Nice.
I like that distinction.
Yeah.
Are there any battlegrounds you absolutely never take Vikings on, Kyle?
Well, Lost Caverns would be bad.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to be in the. That's not going to be in the rotation, thank God.
Yeah, and Haunted Mines, right? I mean, are really tiny maps. And on those two-lane maps, you are at a disadvantage because now we have Zool and Dahaka, who would probably just work there better.
Right. Something Battlefield of Eternity, 2-lane map.
Yeah.
I'm quite comfortable in 2 lanes map because I can use two guys to push and one guy to support the team in team fights when the objective comes up.
Oh, and I love using Eric in there. I mean, Olaf is such a great safe laner. Baylog really pushes lanes well, and then you can just get a lot of squirreliness done with an Eric and even bait out some people to chase you.
I usually go for Olaf in the team fights.
Oh, nice. Okay. You going with the level 16 stun?
No, but just to have a beefy extra guy in the team to soak up some damage, and the slow comes in handy sometimes.
That's true.
Nice. I'm so excited that we're that because of your enthusiasm, Kyle, that we're bringing out the Vikings love on this show, because we haven't talked about him in a while, and now all of a sudden there's a lot of Vikings talk on this show.
I always heard him under the breath, so to say, on your show. And when you talked about a couple of shows ago, when you talked about how important the XP lead is right now, I'm going to play Vikings, see how it goes. And that XP lead is amazing how good it does.
Yeah, it can be very frustrating, of course, though, when you're giving your team that 3-level lead and they just keep throwing it away and you're working hard and they just don't call for it. And every once in a while you get a group, and it's very, very rare, which is why I decided to play Lost Vikings in the end. I was playing Abathur. I really love Abathur, but I confuse too many people. Most people see Lost Vikings on their team and they go, "Oh, excellent. Everybody mid. Let's do it, Lost Vikings."
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, did you have any other questions?
No, that's pretty much it. I forgot the excellent question I had this morning, so
oh no,
maybe next time.
if it was what does Jeff Kanata smell like? We don't know. We were talking to him via the internet. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Okay. Goodbye.
Go Vikings. Alrighty. Well, we missed a call from a gentleman, and he stopped calling. Let me see if he's around. You know what? We'll just call him. We'll just call him and see what happens. Mr. John. And if he doesn't
Vikings
answer,
are back on top now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hello?
Hey, John.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Wonderful. We noticed you tried calling, and we were done with the last caller, so we figured we'd try and pull you in here.
Oh, thank you. Just want to make sure my mic is all right.
It almost sounds like it's snowing or raining, but we can hear you okay.
It's very relaxing. I might fall asleep here.
It does sound remarkably like the noise machine I go to sleep to.
Oh, well, I'll try not to put you to sleep with my question then. I just wanted to point out, you said that League of Legends has quite a bit of variance in their heroes. I would actually kind of argue against that, partly because I play a lot of it right now.
Sure.
But anyways, I had a question, but now it's gone.
Oh no!
Damn it.
But why do you say that about League of Legends heroes? Are they just kind of scraping the barrel now to come up with something unique, or is it a long-winded design decision?
I think it is like they're kind of scraping the barrel right now. One of the characters that they just released, Jin, the Virtuoso, his kit is supposed to be about, like, or at least the idea of it was, or the impression I got was supposed to be you're a long-range sniper and supposed to find the beauty in death because he's some sort of assassin artist. But some of his kit doesn't really make sense. One of his Q ability is a grenade that bounces between enemies and does increasing damage, but it just doesn't really fit his kit. It doesn't really fit his character.
Huh.
Yeah, so more like they just didn't have a bouncing grenade ability yet, and at least this is unique enough, and they threw it on the guy.
Yeah, and there are a lot of repeat abilities too. There are several characters that recently, when I've seen their kit come out, it's just, oh, well, I've seen this before, I've seen these abilities before many times. And that's partly actually why I really like Here's the Storm now, is because a lot of the characters are so different, Cho'Gall specifically.
Oh, geez.
Well, and the personalities. Like, when I was looking to get into League of Legends, the first thing I did was fall to the monsters, because that'd be what excited about. Fell on Cho'Gath. And nothing about him really has a through line. It doesn't inform my play style. Yeah, I want to, rupture people. Yeah, I want to eat them and hit them with spikes and stuff. And I guess grow bigger, however that mechanic works. But the abilities didn't flow into one and the other.
Yeah.
I just kind of spam it all and hope that it works out. But since we have you here, I have a question for you. What are death moves in League of Legends?
Death moves?
Yeah, it's like, does everyone when they die have like a res or something? I'm always seeing pro play and people seem to explode, but then they get right back up. And I'm not talking about like Scion, I think is the guy's name. There's like all sorts of heroes that kind of res suddenly.
Oh, there are a few that have some abilities that activate when they die. Like as you said, Sign, for example, as soon as he dies, he comes back for a short time. His health drains over time, but he can go around punching people for damage.
Yeah.
There's also an item that you can pick up called Guardian Angel, which that might be what you've seen.
That seems that chat room is saying the same thing, Kyle.
Okay, is that kind of like the Aegis in Dota? It's an item you get off one of the bosses around the map, and it lets you res on a death?
Actually, it's purchasable.
Ooh, oh my.
Purchasable. Upon taking lethal damage, restore the greater of 700 health or 30% of maximum health and 30% of maximum mana after 4 seconds of stasis, 300-second cooldown.
Yeah, I hate that item.
It sounds infuriating.
And it is because, it's very unlike Aegis, where you can just buy it and then you have it for the rest of the game. Like you don't have. There's no earning it, or yeah, you have to earn it through gold, but there's no trying to get something and earn it to take it away from the enemy team.
Gotcha.
And then there's like an ice block where everyone turns into gold and gets a spinning ring over their head.
Yep, that's Zanya's Hourglass.
And that's another sort of like Flash. You equip that outside of the game based on your account level.
No, that is an item that you purchase.
Okay,
It's
just a
specifically
popular item.
Yeah, it's specifically for mages, and yeah, it takes you out of, takes you out of the game or makes you invulnerable for a few seconds.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm watching Heroes of the Storm esports. I'm like, yeah, of course. The symbol's over his head and it means the X. And then I go watch a MOBA I don't understand. I'm like, what is all this noise? And what is that symbol? And that flag over there blinking, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I love this. Someone should call in and just be like, so when Thrall has the crack come out and it does a boom noise, what does that do? Like I want the hero's equivalent of the questions you're asking John right now, Kyle. It's great.
Actually, I do have a question.
Sure.
One friend of mine, I keep trying to get my friends to play Heroes of the Storm, but none of them seem to want to play it. One of them in particular says when he did play it, which I think was fairly early on in the game, there was no customization. And that's what he hated most, but it feels like with Heroes of the Storm, I almost have more customization in that than I would in League of Legends, even though there are so many items in League of Legends.
So is he talking about in-game, like active customization, or is he talking about the level up system with points and different attributes and things that maybe get you more invested longer?
I think he's talking about the items specifically, but he might also be talking about the rune system.
Yeah, I don't know. I for one hate the rune system, and I'm glad it's gone, and I hope it never returns. But as for just overall, saying that there's no customization, I find that just strange because the talent system is basically in this game taking the place of the item system in other games, and it allows them to customize your options to the hero, and we're seeing it even more now. I mean, this latest PTR patch is stripping out even more generic talents like Bolt of the Storm. So each hero is becoming more and more special and specialized towards what their theme is, what their build is, what their kit looks like.
Well, and I'm still discovering new talents that I haven't even looked at every day. I mean, I got in a game as Monk the other day where I was dealing with no stuns on the enemy team, but a ridiculous amount of slows. I'm talking about, level 16, Earthbind Totems, the Chen kick that slows by 90%, and it was a Soothing Breeze or something at level 13 that I should have gone with that would have cleared those up for my team, and that's awesome. that I have those sort of options hidden throughout here. And in fact, quite a few heroes, people ask me my build on them nowadays, and I maybe pick 2 talents or so. The rest are very dependent on the situation.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the way Heroes treats it. So, and I played Dota for a good time until Heroes of the Storm, but very casually. But I definitely prefer Heroes system.
Well, and Dota had a lot of options. We had a lot of shops to go. But basically, my build, either I was playing well and my item build was the exact same every time, or I was playing poorly and I was trying to buy a bunch of bracers to make up for my lacking health as the game went on.
And actually, I will say, Dota 2 has, I think, even improved on the item department, because they now have items specifically for mages and casters that'll increase their cast range of spells, the damage that the spells do, and even have some sort of spells, or some have spell steal. So they've added to it, which makes it even more customizable.
Looks like the
But
talent you were
that
thinking
falls
of.
into like the ease of use, right? I mean, there you're getting into a world of items that, at least my understanding is, you can still accidentally purchase and have to be in the know that, you know, a scepter doesn't increase your ultimate on X character.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, Kyle, I believe it's just relentless. I think at level 13 reduces silences, stuns, slows, roots by 50%.
No, it's Soothing Breeze at level 16. Breath of Heaven removes silences, binds, slows, and roots.
Oh, it just straight up removes them.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
But yeah, Relentless is also extremely important on Monk.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Well, thank you. Thanks for calling, John.
Thank you. Actually, one last very quick question,
Sure thing.
if that's all right. Are you excited for the WoW movie coming out in 2 months?
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. Kyle,
Can't wait to see it.
you excited?
I enjoyed Hellboy, and that's where my expectations are.
I don't know what to take away from that.
I wish it was a fully computerized movie. Those orcs look really out of place.
Yeah.
Hellboy, The Golden Army, spoiled me a bit because that was a lot of props, and I really enjoyed that. But like the first one or the Blade movies, when like the blood's flowing around, he becomes a blood god or whatever, like that's the level of effects I'm expecting from Lionsgate.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Golden Army was sweet. That whole market scene. That market scene was right up there with seeing the cantina on Tatooine for the first time.
Exactly, and even more of a disconnect as the female orc, clearly a human, but our man orcs are computerized.
The female orcs are computerized too. That's Garona, who's a half-breed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Well, the one we've seen.
Slammed! Okay, thanks for calling, John.
Well, thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked for it. I'm with you. Like the CG looks really CGE.
And I know to do anything to make that look better, you're just looking at cash. Then tons of it.
I'm not necessarily sure how true that is, because there's some budget movies out there that have some phenomenal CG, and there's some really old movies where the CG holds up way better than current movies. Like,
Right, clearly they want a certain shine to everything. They want this sort of mystical, otherworldly feel. When I just like the gritty of, you know, Lord of the Rings kind of movies, even though it's just a bunch of dudes in suits, you know, they probably can't really talk with those teeth in their mouth, but we'll dub over it.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the reason they probably went with the CG, because I think we're going to get half of the damn movie is going to be these orcs. Whereas in Lord of the Rings, you're only... There's not a star Urukai or a star orc that you're really having long, meaty drama with. They're just, bring me man flesh. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, find the halfling and everyone, beautiful performance.
Exactly.
I want to see more of that guy.
Exactly. And then when you even have something that's more of a character in those movies, like the one, the crow-looking orc that's like, what about the legs? They don't need the legs. Like, that one has significantly less prosthetics around the mouth so that they can emote more.
Yeah.
So, as much as I would have preferred the practical route, I'm not sure it would have looked like Warcraft if they went full practical.
I think the adversity that the original Star Wars felt makes better movies in the end. And when you can do anything you want, things go Hobbit.
I agree. I agree.
But I know Hobbit, that's not a knock against Peter Jackson. I know Hobbit suffered from a ton of production issues. And Peter Jackson was brought in late as well to kind of salvage a movie that he originally wasn't going to be a part of.
They really should have just pushed that thing as far as possible and done right by it, because those movies, oof. There's points. There's points in it where it's like that glimmer of hope, that ray of light shines through Shelob's lair. But the majority of it is really just depressing to watch.
Well, and you get into extended Tolkien and it gets really biblical because it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are not the same as Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but they are sort of allegories and whatnot if you do the studying on it. And I know these orcs got to be emotional, right? We really need to feel for them.
They're leading characters. They're not.
Yeah.
We're going. I feel like we're going to. From what I've seen from the trailers, it looks like we're going to be spending a lot of time with Durotan's story. So I think that's the route they had to go, because in the scenes where it's just the orcs and they're talking, like, it is incredible what they're pulling off, like the detail in the face. Like, it is a character that can show a range of emotions. You're looking at a horrifying monster that can look depressed or sad or look like it's yearning for its child. And that's something I'm not sure you could have pulled off if you wanted to make a suit, throw it on someone, and make it do justice to the style of Warcraft. So, but I mean,
I'm very interested to see how they choose to market it as we get closer to the movie's release. Because we can assume everyone who's ever played World of Warcraft or Warcraft 3 is, or any of the early ones even, is going to be in the movie theater, right? We just have to make the pilgrimage.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not seeing it.
How are they going to get the people who aren't that demographic into the theater, and what will those advertisements look like?
I'm kind of in your... Okay, is where you're going with this is that you and I are going to get significantly less hype because of the barrage of terrible trailers with electric guitar music.
Yeah, or, the ones that are really, like, getting in on the love story between the two characters. Mm-hmm. Like, those are always kind of odd. It's always funny to see, I'm not even talking demographic, just interests. You'll see one cut of a trailer where it looks like a romantic comedy, and then the other one looks like an action film.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. All I know is I'm excited, and it looks like they're doing it as right as they can, for the application that they have chose for this movie. So.
And the money they've made, and it's simply not worth the extra expense and work to make it look better because they have this built-in audience for now. We can always improve that in the future if we get sequels.
Again, I'm not sure how true that is, because there's so many movies that have all the money in the world and their CG still looks like crap. So,
sure.
But yeah. I really liked Jurassic World is where I'm going with this, but I'm not sure why the CG looked so bad.
I don't think Jurassic World looks as plastic as the these Warcraft trailers do.
Fair enough.
But then again, we're dealing with like moving people, and there's always that disconnect. As these are dinosaurs. Like we're imagining how they moved, and they move with weight. But there's something so fluid. I don't know. Maybe our muscles have a little bit of jerk into them. That's just natural. Something weird happens.
I think I think what it is they were really faithful to the source material, and it looks weird when shown next to an actual human being.
Yeah, and our human beings in Warcraft are not human beings. They are 5'2" giant hulking things.
They're a hyper-rendered Johnny Bravo.
Exactly, yes. With shoulder pads instead of hair.
Yes, exactly. See, you get it. And mustaches. Do not forget the mustaches.
Oh, well, you gotta have fantastic facial hair to be part of any fantasy world.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to give quests without facial hair?
Yep.
Well, or, you can be a lot of the cool... Who's the rogue chick you run into on the Horde side all the time through the quest? She's awesome.
Valera?
Is she? No. She's undead. She's the one who everyone's saying is going to be the Sylvanas replacement when she goes nuts.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember her name. I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember her name.
That one.
Yeah, I'm excited for Warcraft for the story because it looks like they're doing it justice. I'm not going to it super excited to see the world of Azeroth depicted in that way because the trailers haven't done a whole lot to convince me that they've done honestly all that great of a job.
And that's a hard story to tell. I mean, Gandalf, we've just passed in the realm of Gondor. And, like, they were just riding for, like, 5 days straight, but there's no way to communicate that well in a movie. I hope they can do the scope of the world well. But really what I want to see is, why is he on the ground with some sort of... The human dude, I forget his name. Why is he on the ground looking up at some sort of flame? Is that a demon? If so, I'm stoked as heck.
Yes. And I believe it is, because... what's his name? Gul'dan is totally in the movie. So...
Yeah.
With those spines coming out of his back. Getting the crap punched out of him in one of the scenes.
Did he have the spines before he put the skulls on?
I believe so.
Well, nice.
I believe they're actually growing out of his back, right? I don't think it's just armor.
Are they?
In the movie, they definitely are. Those things
Yeah.
are coming straight out of his damn back. I don't know if that's the case in original Warcraft lore, but whatever.
He drank the juice.
Yeah, being buddy-buddy with demons, has some drawbacks. Just like meth. Anyway, that's where we're gonna leave this.
Hey, without the all-powerful thing,
Yeah.
Maybe you think so.
Yeah, you think so, but you're not. That's what we'll leave this call-in episode. Thank you to all our patrons who called in today. Thank you to all the other patrons who are supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. Follow Kyle at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter, kyleferguson.com for coaching and all sorts of awesome stuff. Check out his solo Q&A. I can be found on Twitter at Garrett Art. All of the other shows that I do can be found at amove.tv. And that's going to do it. We'll see you next Thursday for our next episode of Into the Nexus. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.